Hello, my name is Rosemary Savath, and I am from Masaka Hoei Sensei's Japanese culture class for the spring 2019 semester. For the given PowerPoint assignment, I have decided to explore the Shinsengumi in Japanese culture. After researching many things about the Shinsengumi, I have come up with my thesis statement as follows. The Shinsengumi was created about 156 years ago, and in that time that has passed, many opinions have formed about the Shinsengumi along with it impacting Japanese culture. Before I begin regarding my thesis statement and the research I have found, first I would like to explore the background behind the Shinsengumi. Originally, the Shinsengumi had started off as the Roshigumi, which was formed by the Tokugawa shogunate in 1854. This was led by Kyogawa Hachiro. The Roshigumi was made up of 230 ronin as of 1962, who are all from the sword schools of Edo. Edo is currently present-day Tokyo, and ronin are samurai without masters. Their mission was to protect the Tokugawa Iemuchi, who was the 14th shogun at the time. The Roshigumi was disbanded due to political issues between Emperor Komei and the shogun. After the Roshigumi was disbanded, a few members had created the Miyabu Roshigumi, which was formed by mostly members of the Mito clan after the Roshigumi disbanded. And after this, the Miyabu Roshigumi was later renamed the Shinsengumi in 1863. So who or what was the Shinsengumi? At its highest peak, they were made up of about 300 members, and this was led by Kondo Isami, Seizawa Kamo, and Nikimi Nishiki. The Shinsengumi was an active police force made by the Bakufu during the Bakamutsu period in 1863. The group had supported the Tokugawa regime, and their job was to patrol the streets of Kyoto, restoring order in the name of the Tokugawa Bakufu. They were also the first samurai group who allowed non-samurai class members. This means that anyone was free to join, such as merchants, farmers, and etc. Later on, the Shinsengumi would later on participate in the Boshin War and then lost to imperial forces. Now for my thesis, I have found an article labeled Romanticizing the Shinsengumi in Contemporary Japan by Rosa Lee. This article supports my thesis statement as to how the Shinsengumi has affected Japanese culture and formulated opinions in modern-day Japan on the topic. Now, the Shinsengumi in modern-day Japanese culture has become more of a social phenomenon in Japan today. And I'd like to quote the author Rosa Lee, where she states, for example, a quick search on Amazon.co.jp leads to 829 results just in the category of Japanese books. An unrestricted search further reveals widespread commercialism beyond comprehension and imagination. Shinsengumi-related products range from conventional media such as novels, games, manga, film, and dramas to quirky items such as figures, accessories, pets, costumes, and even an idol group. Shinsengumi the popularity is also noteworthy since their earliest appearance in popular media could be tracked back to the 1920s. This meaning that in modern-day Japanese culture, the Shinsengumi has become quite popularized throughout all of media forms, such as TV shows and anything you can imagine. Now, for my own research, just to try and check on what I could find based on a Google image search. So when I quickly Googled image searched the Shinsengumi, there are many images from Japan's pop culture. The first image below is the anime Gintama with their adaptation of the Shinsengumi. And the second image is of cell phone straps of the Shinsengumi. This shows that the article explores many things as to pertaining the Shinsengumi in modern-day Japanese pop culture. In addition, the cultural obsession with the Shinsengumi is not just an obsession in Japan, but is just an example of Japan's popularity with its historical figures. The article analyzes how the transition of the Shinsengumi went from historical figures to becoming romanticized. In the article, the author explores the popular imagination of the Shinsengumi in Moyo-ken by Shiba Ryotaro. Moyo-ken is a novel by Ryoto Shiba, which follows the life of Hijikata Toshizo, who is the vice commander of the Shinsengumi. This novel was also voted the best fictional representation of the Shinsengumi in 2003 in a magazine survey. Shiba was a prominent national writer and was also perceived as someone who can accurately communicate the realities of Japanese history rather than a mere fiction writer. So, with this given, we can conclude that the novel was not written more along as for entertainment purposes, but also to convey the Shinsengumi in a way that is more historical, fact than fiction. So now, moving on to analyzing Moyo-ken. The novel can be seen as more non-fiction than fiction, as stated before. It also transcends Japanese history more than being a work of fiction, meaning it was also not a work of entertainment. The time the novel was written was during post-World War Japan. Now, during post-World War Japan, Japan was going through a crisis of the aftermath of the atomic bomb and rebuilding its own economy. And during this time period, it can be seen as the novel reflecting Japan's beliefs. It is a reflection of the Japanese public. In the book, there are tragic heroes, exemplary Japanese citizens, charismatic individuals all at once or none of these, as seen through the themes of the book. We can also see that actual fans who appropriate popular texts and reread them in fashion that serves different interests. This statement also follows that some fans of the book can take the meanings of the book out of proportion and can warp them into more modern-day pop culture. After this, we can also analyze the difference between Moyo-ken and also Gintama, which is a more modern-day pop culture anime and book novel in Japan. Now, in comparison to Moyo-ken, we can analyze the Japanese manga Gintama. Gintama is a Japanese manga to which the Shinsengumi are characters. The main difference between Gintama and Moyo-ken is that Gintama meets the demands of its audience. Or in other words, Gintama has no historical value, but a value to entertain audiences. We can also tell by the notoriety of Gintama that it is more geared towards entertainment due to its credibility and well-knownness throughout Japan. Moving on, when comparing both works, we can come up with an overall analysis. Looking at both works, we can assume that both are an outcome from both time periods, one being from World War II and one being from a more modern time period, such as present day or within the past 2 decades. Characters demonstrate that modern-day consumers continue to romanticize Hijikata Toshizo as a self-determining individual who is equipped with the fortitude required to pursue one's ideals in a harsh times of reality. We can say that both of them are compared as to portraying Hijikata Toshizo as a person of interest and also a main character to which he shows what the Shinsengumi embodies and other values. In conclusion, we can conclude that the main reason why Japan has an obsession with the Shinsengumi and is that consumerism and materialism has brought individual philosophies about life. With the search for self-identity, the people have found the strong sense of self-identity and strength from the Shinsengumi. As a result, the public's frustration with finding and pursuing its own individual goals. In contemporary Japan, could we begin by theorizing the romanticizing of the Shinsengumi as evidence of the public's desire for self-determination and a sense of belonging. After analyzing the conclusion of the article, I would also like to input my own opinion on the matter. For my own opinion on the matter for the conclusion, in a viewpoint of another person's perspective, we can see that this issue that the Shinsengumi has impacted Japan as historical figures. It is normal for events from the past to be portrayed in the future as different, but we can deviate fact from fiction. Japan's cultural obsession with the Shinsengumi can be seen as normal, and the works of Moyo Ken and Gintama are works of their own time. Now I would like to thank you for viewing my presentation, and I hope you all have a good day. Thank you.